Yo guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at a game I played against a subscriber. Now, if you like this video, slap that like button, and to all of my subscribers, thank you so much for sticking with this channel. You guys mean a lot to me, thank you. But without further ado, let's get into the game. Now, this subscriber only actually joined pretty recently, but she played a solid game until made a few mistakes. But let's show the game. So F4 was played by a subscriber. These days you mainly see E4, D4 and C4. Those are, oh no, sorry, not C3, C4. Those are the main variations, but the bird's opening is played. Okay, so I responded with D5, the Dutch variation. We have E3 and knight to C6, so a main line. We have bishop to B5, pretty solid. And now there are many ways you can play this. You can play bishop to D7, E6, knight to G6 a lot. I played a line bishop to D7, and yeah, we have E4, which is a move. However, I think my opponent should just have played, whoa, not that. I think my opponent should just have played knight to F3, you know, just solid. Or even D4 is a move here, but yeah. So we have E4, sacrificing a pawn, and I take, because I like taking pieces, and yeah. I capture. We have queen to E2, not a bad move. Now knight to F6, and now I'm really piling down on this square here. We have D3. I take, he takes, and now I finally tries to say, okay, what are you going to do with this bishop? I'm going to kick it out, and you've got three options. Go back to ace 4, sorry, no, not that. Go back to C4, or take my horsey. So we have bishop to C4, and now B5, the aggressive option, and bishop D5. My opponent just hung a piece. Okay. So at this point, I took the piece, but a better move for my opponent would have been to take, or to go back to B3, or even sacrifice the bishop for the pawn. Because then my king wouldn't be allowed to castle once I take, because I have to take, and then he can just develop his pieces nicely, and yeah, my opponent's would be doing really well for the cost of a piece. But not many people, even like if I'm in this position, I wouldn't see this move. I wouldn't see this bishop sacrifice. So bishop D5, I take with the knight. So yeah, it wasn't the best move. And now we have A3, knight D4, and queen to F3. Okay. Now, when you're a beginner starting out, and you are being met with a position like this, where you are back in development, you're down a piece, and your queen is threatened, you have to find a way to A, get your queen out of danger, and B, develop pieces. Piece activity will win you the game in this position, but queen F3 just didn't cut it for my opponent. And now many people would just take the queen, but I thought that this would be an instructive lesson, you know, and just showing all you guys that this is how you should play, this is how you could play. So I went knight to C2 check. I didn't take the queen, and a few moves later I win a pawn, and I am threatening to take this pawn as well, which would be devastating. We have queen to E5, which is actually a very, very solid move, but I give a check, I take the rook, and I lose a piece. And now this knight is trapped, but I play bishop e6, and now I can get this knight out. So, what will my opponent play? We have queen to d4, offering a queen trade, and when you are down material, you don't want to trade pieces, so I would say that this is a blunder, or not a blunder, but a mistake by my opponent. Here, a better move would probably just to develop a piece here, maybe, and try get this rook into the game. But, okay, I don't go, and I offer a queen trade. We have queen to e3, I take the bishop, queen takes, and I play g6. I want to fianchetto my dark square bishop and get this bishop on an open diagonal. With h4 and queen to d5, a beautiful move. It targets the g2 pawn, and also I'm threatening to slide the queen in to b3, so it's a very, very, very deadly move. We have rook to h3, bishop to g7 check, and king to b2. This king is a real adventure, isn't he? Right in the middle of the board. Queen to b3. The only, well, he's got the king has got two legal moves. King c5 is a good move. It is a good move. But I just take a piece. The queens are traded off the board, and now rook e3. Not a bad move, but then again, I want to play rook to d8, which happens, and then bishop to d4. So rook to d8, king to c6. Good move by my opponent, because I want to go bishop to d4 and pick up the rook, or if the knight. So I do that anyway, and my opponent takes. Now, a better move in this position would be to just slide the rook back, get out of danger and slide the rook back. But my opponent doesn't do that. My opponent goes rook takes e6, obviously f takes e6, knight to c3, and now which knight do you take? The answer is neither. You don't take neither of the knights, because the piece you actually do take, well, you should have taken the knight, but, well, you should have moved rook to d6, which what happened. Yes, I hang a pawn, but then I've got this very, very beautiful move, bishop to b6 check, and now the king hasn't got a lot of moves at all, and I'm just swarming. Well, and in this position, many top level players would have actually resigned, but my opponent didn't do that. So I have bishop to b6 check, we have king to c8, rook to d7, and mate is going to happen, guys, because after king to b8, I know you can see it on the screen, but I'll give you a couple of seconds to find what the correct move is. And guys, if you found it, well done. The move is this very subtle king to f7, and it's a ladder checkmate. So I'm just going to shout out to my opponent, who, if he watches this video, thank you so much. You played an actual pretty good game for an 800, and yeah, so thank you for watching. If you like this video, slap that like button, but I'll see you in the next one.